I went from being stuck at 10 to 15k per month with my fitness business for 18 months to reaching 30k plus per month with 7.5x the profit. And we did all of that within 5 months. And the reason for this is that rather than doing what everyone else is doing, running more ads, community and webinar funnels, chasing going viral in your content with crazy hooks, we just focused on one simple thing: improving the consistency in the positioning and message of our content to get our exact dream client to reach out to us. And the result of this was insane. And we also use this on all of our clients. And today I'm gonna walk you through exactly how it works, why it works, how to avoid the mistakes, and how you can do the exact same thing. So the thing with a new lead, when they land on your profile, you have something called the trust ladder. The trust ladder goes in 5 levels. You have level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When someone follows you, they are at level 1. There's going to be a ton of people that don't follow you, and that's going to be because you may have an inconsistent profile or your content is shit again, but we're not going to talk about the profile today. What they need to see from you there is you actually being consistent in what you're posting. When you've been consistent long enough in what you're posting, they're going to move to level 2. Level 5 is where they buy. So let's talk about what consistency actually is, because a lot of people just think this means you have to post 7 reels a week or 21 reels a week or get a ton of views every single time. That's not what consistency is about. Consistency is about speaking to things that trigger your ICP with every single content piece you create. So whether it is stories or it is with carousels or reels or long form like YouTube videos or even with your DMs, whatever you do, you want all of these things, all of these, to trigger your ICP. And what does trigger mean? It means that your ICP can relate to whatever you're speaking about. So say you are speaking about getting their dream body. You could show your own dream body, or you can speak to the pain that a client of yours had and the transformation that you did to give them proof that you can get them to their pain point, like through their pain point. You could give them value. A diet plan that they can follow or a program they can follow to get their dream body. Every single thing is going to do one thing, and that's going to trigger it. And when you are consistent with triggering with every single piece of content you create, they're going to move up. And when you keep being consistent, they're going to get curious. Level 2 is curiosity. So they are beginning to be curious in how you can actually help them. Then they move to feeling fully understood. So they feel like you actually understand their pain point because you've spoken to them directly with every single post. And I'm going to walk through exactly how you do that, by the way. It's a very simple 3-step process. They're going to feel fully understood. And then when you keep being consistent with, again, speaking to trigger them through their content, trigger their pain points every single time, you're consistent with your messaging. They're going to move to level 4, which is influence. When they're at influence, you can offer them something. You can offer them a call, offer them help, and they are going to be willing to take it because they see you as a consistent figure with a consistent method that works for their exact problems. You suddenly have authority in their space because you've repeated yourself again and again. And this is really, really, really important. I'm going to show you something. Look at this as a battery. You have 0% and you have 100%. For every single time you repeat yourself, the prospect is moved up 1 to maybe 3%. When they're at 100%, again, they're gonna buy. It's the same as the trust ladder. They're gonna move up. But if you once swap what you are speaking about, say they are at 40%, and suddenly you speak about something completely different. You are selling a cure to get hair on your head. And suddenly you start speaking about how you style your hair, just as an extreme example. What's gonna happen then? What is going to happen is that everyone that were at 40% are gonna move back to -1%. They go from feeling curious to go from feeling fully understood to be very confused about what you actually can do and if you actually ever could help them. They suddenly feel like you're not the person to help them at all. And one of the biggest mistakes that coaches actually make is that they go from speaking on the same thing, say 20 times, 20 reels in a row. And then they think, this is boring. I won't speak on this anymore. So they switch what they spoke of again, and they start fresh at 1. And every time you do that, you have to realize people go from being ready to buy, almost ready to buy. You probably have a ton of leads. If you're consistent with this, you're gonna have a ton of leads ready to get a DM from you, ready to book a meeting, or ready to even be DM closed if you do this properly. But they're moved back from level 4 to, again, maybe it's even unfollowing you, or basically being back to square one. You have to be consistent again. But when you stick to the same thing, instead of swapping, you do the 20x and you go to 50x. They're going to be moved down to 100 and buy. And it's crazy because content is such a huge lever that you can pull. There's going to be a ton of people actually watching your content. And when you do this properly, you're going to target that ton of people properly, which means when you have created 100 content pieces in a row, or say 30, if it's very good reels, it could be 30, and you do some story sequences as well, you could have moved not only one, but 40 people down the pipeline. 40, 50 people. And if you swap your message, you basically throw 40 leads out of the window. Of course, it's going to vary. Some people are going to start at 20%. Some people are going to start at 0. Some people are going to start at 80% because they like you, like your personality more. But the premise is the same. You have to repeat yourself in what you're speaking of, and that's your core message. So the dream transformation you're providing and the way you're providing it. Say you're providing a weight loss plan with 0 restriction in food, but suddenly you start speaking of, oh, but you should restrict some foods. What's going to happen? Every single person that had faith in you, that truly believed that you understood them, they're gone. And way too many people do this way too often. But that's also because they're very insecure in what style of content they actually need to create to get more buyers. And I'm going to show you that. You want to move your leads up the trust ladder. You want to move them up the ladder. You want to be consistent with what you say. And you want to trigger them with their pain points. Now, let's look at how you do this. Step number 1 is going to be digging into your exact ICP. You need to know exactly what they are thinking, how they feel. What 3 things keeps them awake at night, what they Google at 3 a.m, which topics they consume the most. You need to know all of these things, because what is that going to give you? It's going to give you full clarity in who you actually help in your dream client. And one more thing, where in the journey are they? Because most of your dream clients, like if you have an ICP, it's probably somewhere you have been before. For most people. For some people, it could be something completely else, but then it's even more important to get this right. But say it's somewhere you've been before. You are at a level 10 at a skill, or a level 9 to 10. You have these new people further back in the journey. They're going to be at the level 2 to 3. And they want you to help them get to the level 10, right? So they want to get to level 10. And whatever you're speaking about in your content, repeating again and again, is going to close the bridge for them, so they actually trust you with getting them to level 9, 10. This is really important, because when you know the answer to all of these questions, what is going to happen is that you're going to be able to be very consistent in what you speak about in your content. So when you create reels, when you create stories, when you create carousels, when you create long-form assets, you know exactly who you need to speak to. You know exactly who you need to speak to every single time. So that brings us to step number 2. When you know all of these things, I want you to write down pain point 1, pain point 2, and pain point 3. And then I want you to create subtopics. So 3 to 5 subtopics. So say it's losing weight. Okay, what's beneath losing weight? It could be staying full. It could be eating more vegetables. It could be all of these subtopics. And then when you have those, I want you to create 3 to 5 more subtopics beneath that for every single pain point, okay? So 3 to 5 subtopics, 3 to 5 subtopics. And what is that going to do? It's going to give you a ton of perfect ideas. And these ideas, no matter how you frame these, if it's a day in your life where you show them how to eat more vegetables to stay full, or it's a training session, whatever it is, it's going to be tied down in these pain points and the subtopics. That's going to be your whole ideation list. Every single idea is going to trigger your ICP, which then again creates the consistency in your message, which then again creates the curiosity, makes them feel fully understood, gives you influence, authority over them, and in the end makes the decision to actually buy. That's not the final step, because you also need to improve this over time. How do you know if this actually is working? How do you know what actually gives you buyers? And this step is actually insane as well. Because step number 3 If you look at just the views that this content is getting, all these ideas, if you look at views, you look at engagement, you look at shares, all of these things. The problem with that is that the people that buy from you, they don't actually click like. They don't actually comment. They feel triggered by every single pain point, by every single topic you speak about. But they are not going to click on these things. So the people that click like, the people that comment, they're never going to buy from you. Which means when you optimize your content for likes, for engagement, what are you optimizing for? You're not optimizing for triggering your ICP. You are optimizing for entertaining the rest of the market. Which is a mistake, a huge mistake so many coaches make. And this is the reality of it. You're gonna have 5% of buyers in your views, in your audience. 95% will never buy, no matter what you do. And that's who you're creating content for. Which means your content, maybe some posts are landing, right? Some posts maybe trigger your ICP. So some posts will move people up a level, maybe another level. But then you create something based on engagement and they don't feel hit. And they move straight back down. So you're constantly moving people down the funnel and then pulling them backwards, which then again makes your messaging inconsistent. Your ads are going to be more expensive because people come to your profile and they don't really understand who you help. Even though it's in your bio, it's inconsistent. Everything is going to get worse from this. Your quality of your leads. And to track this accordingly, the most important thing is to actually track why people bought from you. So you're going to ask on your sales calls, why do people come on your sales calls? Why did they choose you? Ask it and track it. Just write it down. Just write it down. But this is going to blow your mind. In your onboarding form, you're going to have these questions. Where did you first come across me in my content? What was the main reason that you went from just following to actually buying? How long did it take you from discovering me to actually buying? Is there anything I could have done better to make you sign up sooner? And what was the final thing that pushed you over the line? You're going to use these questions. And when they are answered, then you know exactly what content pieces people actually buy from. So you're going to update your ideation list with whatever the data is telling you. Over time, your content is going to get just better and better and better at triggering your ICP while getting views and hitting a broader amount of people. This is the result of everything that we've spoken through. When you do these 3 steps, you're gonna hit more people are gonna come into your profile because more of the traffic, I can promise you, you have a ton of people coming into your profile. But the problem is most of them aren't following. More are going to follow. And not only that, because you're so consistent, they are actually qualified followers. Which means they are gonna get triggered by every single content piece that you create. They're gonna get moved up the trust ladder. They're going to trust you more and more and more. And when you then speak with them in the DMs, you can just offer them a call. You can offer them help. And they're going to be willing to buy. You're going to get more paid in fulls, less price objections, better leads to work with, better clients. You're going to get just a crazy improvement. And that's how we went from 10 to 15K being completely stuck, going to 30K per month, and 7.5xing our profits. That's how we did all of it. And if you watch this video to the end, this is probably something you really want to fix. And I can help you. I help with one-to-one calls every single week. We have group calls covering these exact topics, just even more in depth. We help you set up your tracking, help you do everything properly to get this in place and to finally grow your business from 10 to 15K per month to more than 30K per month. All you need to do is click the link below, book a call, or click the Instagram, send me a message there, and I'll show you how everything works.